Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
All right, so we're at USD CAD here. So like I said, I start here and we're looking and I'm gonna zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, and we're gonna go back in time, right? And what I see, and I called this yesterday on the intraday call, somebody asked about USD CAD and I said, let's take a look at the chart. And I'd take a look right here, right? And I'm a big naked Forex guy. I don't use many indicators and different things. I like to just kind of look at the chart. It's like art. But when I take a look here, this is the noticeable thing that stood out to me was this key level, and we are pushing to test that level. So I tell you that this will tell you a lot about that trade, because this is the floor right here and it needs to hold. If this doesn't hold, I mean, we could be entering back into 2014 lows, which nobody wants to go back into 2014 lows. But obviously this dip, this has been caused by a lot of Canada going back into lockdown. So if you study the news and you see a lot of those different things, you'd probably seen that Canada is going back into lockdown. All right. So when I look at it though, same for me and my different softwares this week. It's definitely been a much slower week. Just kind of been in drawdown, not making much money, kind of chilling on all my different accounts. I have this account in GBP CAD that it got into a second level. It originally was in this one level earlier this week by itself and was in $60 profit. And then GBP CAD fell back off a cliff. And then we sniped, a level 7, but pretty crazy to be sniping, level 7s here. And I mean, these are some huge falls and movements, but riding back up, looking for TP here. And I would say that's a solid level of, either resistance or support. If it breaks back through support, could be resistance, but get me to my TP and get out. But you can see that we are up a little over 0.5% floating right now. Slow week for this account, only running the GBP pairs. Nothing exciting. You can see GBP AUD is in a buy 4. GBP USD, we're in a 3 on the sell side. GBP NZD in a 5 buy. So if GBP NZD falls off a cliff a little bit more, I could get an entry, but I doubt it. I doubt it's going to get me where it needs to go. We're in 5 after Wednesday. We're in 6. So we're waiting on a 7 entry on GBP NZD right now. Right now is where an enter now button would come in handy. Obviously that went on the back burner as we were focused on the correlation simulator, but I do plan a UI design here soon. I kind of want to move the ghost gears up here so that people can see them when all their charts are minimized. But I do want to show you guys something exciting. So what you see right here is the correlation filter GearBox. This we're putting a lot of it through testing, but these are the files right here. I took a screenshot to show you guys GearBox in its pretty much 1.0 form finally, right? We've not called it 1.0 for a long time. There's a lot of things we wanted to continue to do to make it the best product possible, but the correlation filter we thought was the perfect time to go into that. So we're still doing some testing, deciding whether we're going to roll it out to you guys all today or next week, but we are rocking and rolling, and you guys are going to get the correlation filter, which if you're new to this call and you don't know what a correlation filter is, well, and essentially, since, depending on what you're doing, you could be scanning all these different currency pairs using GearBox. Many of these are correlated. So when I say correlated, let me log on down in here. So if we touch on the correlation, you know that there's correlation can change too. This is a very impactful thing. So like, for example, AUD CAD and Euro CAD, right now, what this means is, let's say AUD CAD was a buy, Euro CAD is most likely going to be a buy. But this correlation data changes through time. You can see if we go back in time, actually literally a month or two ago, these pairs weren't correlated at all on the sense of moving the same direction. So you can see this data is constantly changing, but what we've built in GearBox is we'll update the data every week on correlation. And then that filter will operate based on any pairs that are more than 85% negative or positively correlated. Now, if they're negatively correlated, what that means is that if CAD JPY is a buy, Euro CAD's a sell. But you can see in the same sense, this data is constantly changing. You know, this doesn't stay the same through time. Correlation does change. So we will be updating this every week. It's just a file we update. We're not going to have to update your actual GearBox or your manager every week. We're actually just going to update a notepad that's the manager searches for correlation. So you'll be unaffected, but weekly we will be updating these on the back end to make sure that, you know, the correlation filter is intact with all the most accurate numbers for your trading. Now, keep in mind, you also can turn the correlation filter off once it does come out. If you don't want to use it, there is the feature to turn it on and off inside of GearBox, but it's been a long awaited feature. I see a great question. An anonymous attendee here said, can you explain what buy 5 and sell 1 was on the VPS? So a newer user. So yes, let's go ahead and explain that. Oops, not podcasts. All right. So if we were to go over here to GBP NZD, and let's say we take a look at this buy here, this says buy 5, sell -1. So this means that it is not in a negative, it's not in a sell trade in the Ghost server. So it's trading in the Ghost server, right? And when we take a look at it, you can see it's actually buying and trading. But when you take a look, all right, it opened this trade and then it closed it. So right now it's not in any sell, it's only in a buy. So when I say it's only in a buy 5, well, buy 5 means that in the Ghost server, it has a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 trade open right now. Now, a swing entry typically enters on 6, but after Wednesday, it raises to 7 because we know that the markets move a little more. So we're actually waiting for a larger movement. So you might be saying, okay, well, what are those movements? So if we were to go over here to our beautiful level calculator here, and we take a look at the levels, you can see that right now we're on a level 5. That's 207 pips. All right. Typically our entry is at 300, but because it's after Wednesday, it's going to be 426, a level 7 on swing settings. Or if you were on sniper settings, you're waiting for 600 pips after Wednesday on GBP NZD. So basically it's the level and where the trade is in the Ghost server is on the display. That's what you're seeing there. So reading through the questions here. Not seeing any more questions. All right, well, let's get into it. So if we actually go over here to my FX book and we'll take a look at my 10K account. This account is my conservative account, swing settings. As you see, it's won 83% of trades, has a great profit factor, only taken 187 trades since August in total. Not a lot of trades. Hasn't taken a lot of lots either, 18 lots to make a little over 7,000 profit. Absolutely incredible. You can see right now we're in some drawdown. That's okay. $795. Not stressing. It's a $14,000 account, very minimal, but that's a part of the process. you can definitely see there's times where you could take a loss, right? We went 63 down to 57. We got into a higher drawdown with correlated pairs. This is where the correlation filter idea came. We said, let's build a correlation filter to mitigate a lot of this risk. Now you can see here, we're in drawdown again. And repeatedly, anytime that happens, what do you see happen? We come back, our equity grows. Equity is down, balance grows, growth. Now, for people who maybe have done some riskier things or got themselves into some higher drawdown, that's okay, it happens, right? I had this account running 6 max pairs, $1,500 swing account, pretty risky in my opinion. And you can see it went ahead and got into some drawdown, and it actually stayed in this drawdown from November 24th to March 24th. That's 3 months of drawdown. And in that time, it was making money, but then guess what? It took a loss. It took a loss from 80 down to 48 in stop losses, but then made it right back. And now it's at a new high again. So the point of showing you that is there's times where, look, August we did 14, September we did 15, October we did 11, November we did 18. Go into 2021, January we made no money, February took a loss. But guess what? We're back on track making money. Now, why I'm showing you this is, yeah, there's potential that, you could have a losing month. You could, have a month you don't make any money, you just get stuck in drawdown. Is that ideal? No, but the point is that it's a phenomenal product. There's just times where things like that are going to happen because it's not the product, it's what the market delivers us as well. The product knows what it needs to do and has its strategy, but if the market doesn't deliver what we need it to do, there's only so much it can do. And then just to show, here's my $250 account running Super Sniper. It only trades 1 max pair at a time. It's taken 61 trades since August, and it's done 100% on the little $250 account. So to show you it can work, it's not going to make your monthly fee, but have we been doing it? Sunita said, how to change the settings on a pair if I think I made a mistake? Well, Sunita, if you think you made a mistake, but you know what the mistake is, you just simply go into the settings and you can change it. But the easiest thing to do is to always just use your GearBox manager here. Go into the manager, put the settings you want, hit OK, choose the strategy you want, and apply it to all the charts. And it'll update all your settings. That's the easiest way. Just always use the GearBox manager because, we designed it to be a powerful tool to make you able to deploy to gearboxes rapidly, very easy. The settings on my GearBox manager are not the same as my other pairs. If you are applying to the gears above setting, these are always going to be different unless you use custom, because these are programmed. These are programmed for the currency pairs, Sunita, to have the entries like we talked about. Manager, these are the different entries where each of these currency pairs is going to enter. So they're all going to be different programmed for that based on the strategy you choose. Other than that, all the settings will look the same. All right, well, let's get right into talking about risk too. I like to talk about risk because I want people to understand, how to decrease their risk or increase their risk. Now, the default recommended setting is, 0.01 per $1,000 balance, right? So if we were taking a look here, you can see what does it take to get into that kind of drawdown? Well, that takes, in this case, 3 pairs all going 833 pips against you is going to get you at 66% drawdown, right? So that can be higher. Now, if you go on a little more on the conservative side at the 0.01 per 2K, your lifespan here, you're in 30% drawdown if 3 pairs all went 833 pips against you. Much more bearable, right? Or on a small account in 45. Now that's a large movement to go against you too, keep in mind. but this is Forex, anything's possible. So it's always wise that, if you want to decrease your risk or your potential drawdown, to decrease your lot size. And then for extra conservative users, an extra conservative user right here at that same movement is on a small account and 12%, 12 times 3. And then, so if 3 pairs all went against you, that'd be 36%. And on your larger account, you'd be an 18% drawdown. So I'm showing you this to show you that really all your risk is determined in your starting lot size, based on where you're entering the market. And I have 4 and 5 here. You can put 3 and 4. But when I look at the manager, I based my decision there on the fact that majority is entering right in here when I do this calculated decision. So I average out the risk by looking at it that way. With $250, if you set the risk to 2 pairs at the same time, but Kevin, you set it to 2 pairs at the same time, that $250 account's going to go boom, boom, bye, bye. How about that? And size lock. Can we use a size like 0.3 to maximize super sniper gains? 0.3 on a 250 account, I'd be going in one trade, man. I don't know what you're talking about. 0.03 even on a 250 account, it's going to be toast, one movement. Oops. Did the stop trading before and after news feature go away? If this feature did not exist, can it be created? So Ghost Trade Gab Walker here. The reason that the news feature doesn't exist is that's actually what GearBox needs to get entries. Without news, it's not, you want news, you need news. If you don't have the news on, you're missing entries. The only time you might decide to manually change that is if you're in some drawdown already and there's a news event, and then in which case I'd recommend you just pausing the pair manually. But at the same time, you really don't want the news filter. It actually does you more disjustice, especially in GearBox world. I'm reading through the comments. Steven, I don't know what you mean, the logo. Tyler, can you remove the logo? So the screen is, what logo? I don't know what I'm missing. I am doing this on my iMac, so I'm not sure if that makes it harder. I normally do it on my laptop, but you guys are with me today on the iMac. Logo is sharing the screen. I don't understand. Mackenzie answered it. Yeah, you got to move it on your own screen. Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say, yeah, I don't know what being referred to there. But let's get in Forex Factory. Let's look at the week ahead. I don't see too many questions here, and there is not too much to cover this week. One thing I will tell you though, if you guys haven't looked at this is actually the Forex average daily range table. So this is how different currency pairs have moved over the years, their average daily movements. So you can see which ones are most volatile. So like GBP NZD, for example, on average in 2020 moved 196 pips a day. It's pretty incredible. But you can see why, typically looking at our entries in our charts here for where we're entering different currency pairs, why many of these decisions are made for entries based on data as well. And basically how volatile some of these pairs can be. So, but let's get right into Forex Factory. Is that table from a website? Yes, it is, Molly. This is, if you just go Google Forex average daily range table, it should pop up from Offbeat Forex. It's a whole article on Forex volatility. Really great article talking about daily movements, which Forex pairs are best to trade, how they kind of all work, which ones are most volatile, what are the least volatile pairs. Lots of really good information on here. So for those of you that are really playing with GearBox and you like making your own customizations and things like that, this could be a really cool article. Before we get into risk calculator, I also want to talk about like expectations, right? So obviously we can't guarantee you anything, but if we study, some of these MyFX books, we'll see pretty similar numbers over time with the swing or the sniper strategies of, about 7.5% on average over time. Some people might be looking lower now if they just started in 2021 because the months were a little slower. But you can see in April, we even hit it out of the park with 8.3 on this account. And prior months, we were crushing way larger numbers than that. But all around, let's just say 7.5% a month, right? That's what a lot of people are seeing. And let's say we could just average that. Oops, I got to refresh this window. That's why. Let's say we could average this over 36 months, right? All right, so we're talking about not, doing anything too crazy, but just year one, that takes us to 5,954. Okay, year two, that takes us to $14,000. Year three, $33,000. So, I'm not saying you're going to go do this, but if we were to look at averages and historical data, we're seeing that that's happening, right? That people are getting, those experiences, and we have FX books and historical data to back it. But at the same time, you're in full control of your software. Everyone is in full control of how they handle their risk, their emotion, and the strategies they choose. We've just really made GearBox a product that you can really just trust, but you got to at the same time tune into these weekly calls and understand the markets and learn a little bit. But like I said, the goal is to have a highly profitable system, and that is what we've done. So let's get into Forex Factory here and look at the week ahead. All right. So this week ahead, we got GBP, GBP again, and we have USD and some CAD and USD. Looks like actually a pretty slow week with red folder news. Nothing too exciting. I would say it's probably going to be a really phenomenal trading week. I would say that I'm okay with on precision modes going 0.01 per 1K. If you're a conservative user, 0.01 per 2 to 0.01 per 3K. Intraday modes, I'd say I'd be okay with using 0.01 per 3K. And if you're a conservative user in intraday, 0.01 per 5K. For the different modes for GearBox this week. And I'm going to stick to 3 to 4 max pairs trading on all accounts, nothing over 4 in my opinion, unless you're decreasing your lot size even more to accommodate for more max pairs. But it doesn't look like too rough of a week here ahead, and it should be a great trading week. But if nobody else has any more questions for me, I'm glad you tuned in. Thank you for tuning in and being on this wonderful Friday morning call. I see we got some stuff coming in here in the chat. What do we got? Chris said, I asked questions. Chris, I didn't see where your questions are. Yeah, I didn't see your question, brother. On Q&A. Oh, I see some Q&A ones. There we go. It's weird. Q&A didn't put them in proper order. It like mixed them. Where do we find GearBox level simulation chart from Don? In regards to anything broker related, Chris, I can't talk about brokers on calls like this, but yeah, you can DM me. That's not a problem. I'll DM you back on Telegram or IG. No problem, brother. For the pairs that have smaller ADRs, is a good idea to lower the pip step between the levels. If you were wanting to be a little more aggressive, Michael, absolutely, you could do that. But again, your risk is inherently increased. So what I would tell you is instead of lowering the pip step, you know, if you really wanted to, you could lower level on a few pairs. You know, so like, let's say I closed my VPS, but you could go in your VPS and you could look and say, okay, maybe I want to potentially get more trades on AED, NZD, or, you know, NZD CAD, whatever one it may be. But personally for me, I'm going to tell you, it's just going to increase your risk. And what we have really designed already with the current strategies and settings are kind of designed to be pretty foolproof. You know, at the end of the day, nothing's permanently foolproof, but we really set up everything to be in a way where people wouldn't have to question it too much. And if anything, if you want to decrease your risk, you lower your lot size, or, you know, increase your entries to wait longer. But yes, absolutely, you can lower the pip step if you have a higher risk tolerance and you accept responsibility, you know, definitely. Please say intraday mode suggestions again. Yeah, for intraday, as always, this is the precision call. If you do tune into the intraday calls, they are on Thursday for a totally different strategy. But yes, intraday is 0.01 per 3K for the base conservative setting and 0.01 per 5K for extra conservative. Whereas precision modes, your lot size can be a little bit bigger because you're waiting out actually entering into the market until later, so you don't have as high of exposure. Emad Omar switched from Einstein to GearBox. Awesome, Emad. It's awesome to have you here. Glad to have you on the GearBox train. How to get rid of USD JPY when you switch to from Einstein to GearBox? Yeah, just GearBox can continue to manage that trade until you get out of it if you need to enter another level. But with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Thank you so much for spending 40 minutes with me. And I look forward to another great week ahead. And hopefully I get this correlation filter out to you guys today. If not, it'll be next Friday. But know that we are on the final version of it. And we're super excited because I know you've all been anticipating and waiting for that. And I know some riskier users are really excited about that because they might feel they can play a little bit on the riskier side with the correlation filter. But with that being said, once again, thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.